Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. 6 p.m., April 9th, Town Board, Municipal Building, Town Board meeting. First item on our agenda this evening is a public hearings to consider a proposed amendment and solicit citizen input to the following item. Change the ordinance 52 regulating zoning, amending sections 52.2, prin 1, prin 63, 52.3, prin 1, prin B, prin 1. I'll get it right yet. 52.3, prin J, prin 3, prin A, 52.3, prin N, prin 4, 52.3, prin N, prin 5, 52.3, prin N, prin 7, prin A, 52.4, prin O, prin 10, replacing the term land use permit with the words zoning permit. This public hearing is held this evening to solicit input, so if there's anybody wishing to speak in favor of the changing of the wording from land use permit to zoning permit, you may speak at this time. Anybody out there? Second time, anybody wish to speak? Third and final time? Anybody wish to speak for it? Hearing none, anybody wish to speak against changing the language land use permit to zoning permit? Second time, anybody wish to speak? Third and final time, anybody wish to speak? Hearing none, I'll call that public hearing closed and open up the regular board meeting with item 1, which is the Pledge of Allegiance. Andrew, would you lead us in hymn?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2, approve the agenda for the meeting. Any corrections? Hearing none. Item 3, approve minutes from May 12, 2019. Town board meeting. What's your wishes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the March 12th, 2019 meeting.
Motion by Andrew.
I can second.
Second by Patty. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Item 4 is our public comment period. People wishing to address the board will be limited to 2 minutes each, with the public comment period limited to not to exceed 30 minutes total. Anybody wish to speak this evening?
I'd like to bring up the
Go ahead, sir. Name for the record.
Alan Havoc. I live next to the proposed site for the new aluminum. That's going to be an aluminum factory that's going to be on the city property. We're not getting much cooperation from the city as how this is going to lay out. Apparently they've already voted on the sale of the property. It's contingent on if the DNR approves the air emissions.
I think that would be EPA, wouldn't it? I think
They
DNR
said-
has water, I think, but
Yeah.
irregardless, it could be right.
Well, according to their mayor, he says there's not going to be any water pollution because there's no water leaving the plant, which I'm not sure how they're going to cool aluminum after they melt it if they don't have water to cool it. But our mayor is going into this, I think, kind of blindsided, because I looked on YouTube for this factory because they've opened one in a different state in 2016. They spent $100 million on that plant. They're only expected to spend $80 million on this plant. They said that they were going to hire 80 people or have 80 people working there. Well, with that YouTube video, it says that they only have 50 people working there. That's like, well, there's just a whole lot of things that aren't making much sense And like I said, if you go on the internet or whatever, you're not seeing much
30 seconds left if you
on
want to
this.
wrap up.
That and the road,
Mhm.
48th, my understanding is Grand Rapids owns it.
Part of it.
It's busting up. The cities should be paying for it, not the people from Grand Rapids. Yeah, I could go on, but yeah, 30 seconds, so. Very concerned, not many answers.
Okay. Thank you. Your comment? Anybody else wish to speak this evening? Fair enough. Thank you for the comments. We'll take those under advisement and move forward to monthly reports. The first one will be the fire department with Chief Bob Pyatt presenting.
Evening, citizens, board. We're currently staffed with 44 fire and EMS members. We just lost another one to Rapids Fire. 2 non-structural firefighters, 6 EMS members, with a total of 23 members trained for EMS. We're always looking for interested candidates for fire and EMS. If you're interested in serving your community for fire or EMS, stop by the fire station or contact the fire department. Since the last report to the board, the department has responded to 30 calls for service compared to 28 last year during the same time period. So that's 0% change for fire, 9% increase for EMS compared to the same time last year. Our calls this month consisted of 22 911 EMS calls, and then we had 8 fire calls consisting of a mutual aid with Plover for that big church fire they had up there. We had 2 gas leak calls. Those were related to the heavy snow load this year. We had 2 calls where major ice shifts came off a roof and came down on the gas service, cracked the gas main open. 4 brush/wildland calls, and then we had got called out for a lift assist. Our training this last month, our EMS was a practical on proper patient moving and lifting techniques, and we held that down at United, just down the street. This last month for fire, we burned our house out on 90th Street. All went well there. We got a lot of good training with. We invited some of the neighboring departments, so we had people from Rome, Port Edwards, Nakusa. That went well, no injuries, no one hurt. So this last month we had a monthly department meeting, a department officer meeting. We had 2 training meetings and 1 EMS training. For public relations, our Grand Rapids Easter egg hunt's coming up April 20th, Mid-State Technical College parking lot, 10 a.m., not 10:01.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks to all the checks are early coming in from the Grand Rapids area businesses, so huge thank you to them. They're the ones that make it possible, and thanks to the board members that contributed. So it all adds up. That's what pays for all the candy and goodies. And then we have a new thing this year, our fire prevention committee from the fire department. We always do a fire prevention for the kids. Well, now we're going to do twice a year. We're going to do a fire prevention program for adults. So obviously this spring, I'm not sure what all their topics are, but I'm sure it's safety around your charcoal grills and campfires and things of that nature. In the fall, I'm sure it would be more tiered to home eating. It's going to be on Tuesday, April 23rd at 7 p.m. Won't be a real long program, be like 45 minutes to an hour. So that will be at the fire station. Public is welcome. So our smoke detector program is ongoing. We're well over 300 smoke detectors we put in the township. And our address sign is, you can tell the weather's breaking because we're getting a lot of activity on that. Since last report, there have been no injuries with the town. Any questions from the board?
I have one, please.
Sure.
Just curious, the volunteer fireman that we lost, was that due to a full-time position at the?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yep. He already had all his fire classes in, and he had been working on the side, getting his paramedic, and so.
Opening came up, and so he seized the
Yeah,
moment.
he got hired at Rapids full-time, so
Okay,
congrats to Jake Tim.
okay, Jake.
What time was it on the 23rd for that?
7 PM.
7 PM, okay. And about how long is it?
It'll be 45 minutes to an
45
hour. So in fact, they're over, the fire prevention committee's over there right now planning it, so.
Any other questions? If not, thank you very much, Chief.
All right.
We'll ask Chief Mel Peterson to come up and give his report.
Evening, everyone.
Evening.
Okay, the Grand Rapids Police Department, for the month of March, we handled 448 calls for service, and that compared to 338 calls for service last March. That's a 32.5% increase in calls, and Tom Borman should have a breakdown of those calls. For the first 3 months of 2019, the Grand Rapids Police Department handled 1,158 calls for service, which compares to 952 for the same period last year. Also, about a 21.6% increase in calls. The Police Department issued 55 traffic citations, 16 municipal ordinance citations, and 59 written warnings for the month of March. Training for the month, on March 1st, Officer Kabishik attended International Crimes Against Children refresher training at the Marathon County Sheriff's Office in Wausau. This training provided law updates and best practices when investigating crimes against children. On March 8th, Administrative Assistant Jewel Neneman attended District 9 Municipal Court Clerks meeting in Mosinee. Again, this meeting provided updates, best practices, and networking for the municipal court clerks in our district. On March 26th, I attended DNR Law Enforcement Incident Command System training at the Wautoma Fire Department. This training focused on law enforcement branch within the incident command system if a large wildfire were to occur in our area or around central Wisconsin. Vehicles are doing well outside of normal maintenance, and as always, if want to stop in my office and chat, my door's always open. Any questions?
Any word, Chief, on the car getting graphics? And not the graphics, but the lights?
Not yet. Need to reach out to them and see what the status is, where we are in the queue. I know they're caught up with 2018 models, so they're working on 2019 models now. So
Okay.
hopefully our number will come up shortly.
So are we able to utilize the vehicle then?
We are
Oh,
using it.
okay.
Yeah, it just doesn't have a radio or emergency equipment. Officer Kabishik is
Okay.
using it during the daytime when, when she's got to go to interviews or
Okay.
what she has to do. So it is being utilized,
Okay.
just not in emergency modes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Treasurer, Amy Cook.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Evening.
For the month of March, current month receipts were $26,598. Current month disbursements were $284,542. Cash on hand at the end of the month was $1,513,906, with $106,111 in checking and $1,152,419 in the repo account, and $319,714 in the money market. Any questions?
Go ahead, Patty.
I see that we ended up paying off our grader then?
We
so
did, yes.
That's good.
Yes, good news.
Now why don't you go to heck?
No, don't say that.
Any other questions? Thank you much, Amy.
Way to exit. Nice.
Item 6, consider a possible action on the Jigsaw Run permit for Autism Impact, May 4th. I believe that's around Lake Wazeecha, right? Been approved by both chiefs from the police and the fire.
I'll make a motion that we approve the permit for the Autism Impact Corporate Jigsaw.
I'll second that.
Motion Dan, second Andrew. Any discussion on them? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed. Item 6 is out. Item 7, considerable 5K walk run, 5K9 walk run plant and vendor sales, Southwood County Humane Society. That's on May 11th, and that walks from the Lions Club down to the BMX park and turns around and comes back. Crosses 32nd Street twice.
I'll make a motion to approve the event permit for the 5K run walk.
Andrew?
Second.
Patty? Any other discussion, or any discussion, excuse me?
I noticed that the insurance was still active
Well,
within
one day.
So, okay.
Yeah, yeah, we kind of chuckled on that too.
Okay.
Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? No opposed. Item 8 is then resolution of possible action on resolution 2019-07 to amend ordinance 52 zoning, changing the land use permit to a zoning permit. There's quite a history on this. I don't know if somebody wants to,
I can elaborate a little bit.
I'll second the motion.
Oh, there you go. Thanks, Bill.
motion by Patty, second by Bill, discussion. Patty, you want to elaborate?
The Plan Commission, it was first brought up, I guess, to start out with our administrator, zoning administrator, had noticed that the, we had two, almost like duplication of the permits. And so in order to alleviate some costs to a builder, we decided to commingle both of the zoning permit and the other permit into one. So the public hearing that we had tonight was just for the purpose of ensuring that the word land use permit was replaced by the zoning permit, so.
Any
We
other
made a
comments?
really a nice new form, and it's going to be fillable on the internet
Yeah.
eventually, but it's so much more user-friendly.
Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, but aye, any opposed? No opposed. Number 9, consider the possible action on the revised form that Patty was just speaking about.
I'll make a motion that we approve the form.
Motion Bill.
I'll second it.
Second Dan. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, but aye, any opposed? Move to item 10, consider possible action resolution 2019-08 to adopt ordinance 71 bullying and harassment. That's something that the legislative committee worked through with the help of Mel and the school district. Is there any comment that the school district wants to make, or you want to make a motion to accept first?
I'll make a motion, we accept it.
Dan and
I'll
Patty.
second.
Bill second, Bill will second.
Okay, got it. I'll go off table and ask the school board if there's anything that, Craig, you wish to speak on it, or are you satisfied with it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the majority of the credit goes to Mel Peterson, who is the individual that shared with me Plover's example ordinance that they've implemented there in 2013. He and I talked about a few things. I reached out to Dan Alt, the Plover Police Chief, to talk a little bit there. The City of Wisconsin Rapids is acting on a similar ordinance. In fact, it just went through their legislative committee last week, which I was in attendance at, and it will be moved forward to their full council at some point here in the next month or two. One of the things that I said to the city, which I share here with the town board, is the idea that I don't believe our role is to identify what the penalties should be or anything like that. It's simply the idea that we already enjoy excellent relationships with our law enforcement partners. I think this would expand and enhance those relationships, and it also provides the backdrop of additional accountability for our kids and parents around a hot button topic with respect to bullying. The final piece that I'll say is that it's my hope as a parent of kids in our school district, and knowing that I'm accountable to 5,100 students and their families, that we're probably never going to find a circumstance where there's no bullying in any of our schools, but we're going to do everything we can to work towards that long term, and I think this is a step in the right direction.
Thank you. Any other comments, board members?
I just want to say thank you, Mel, for bringing this to us.
All right, motion has been made, seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye, any opposed? Unanimous. Item 11, consider possible action resolution 2019-10 to amend ordinance 13 prohibiting certain activities made crimes under Wisconsin statutes, adding the verbiage related to unlawful use of computerized communication systems.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution.
Motion Bill, second Andrew. Any discussion? Keeping up with the times, this basically changes the ordinance to reflect additional activities that were deemed illegal. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I have an aye. Any opposed? None opposed. Item 12, consider possible action on resolution 2018-11 to amend ordinance 39, which is a schedule of fees, revising zoning permit fee verbiage and adding the bullying ordinance forfeitures.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Motion Dan,
Second by Patty.
second Patty. Any discussion?
Just one comment is, with all these resolutions and that we're flying through them pretty good.
Right.
We have discussed these in great detail at our legislative session, so this isn't the first time that we've saw them and that this is just a final draft, so those thinking, man, you guys really fire through these. We have spent quite a bit of time on these, so just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing
It's a good
that,
idea.
Dan.
Any other comment? We did have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right.
I have an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Consider possible action, this is item 13, resolution 2019-12, to amend ordinance gifts and gratuities, aligning the town's policy with the Wisconsin statutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion Dan, second Bill. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed. Item 14, consider possible action to resolution 2019-13 to amend ordinance 41, regulating the street lighting installations.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2019-13, regulating street light installations.
Motion by Andrew, second by
I'll
Arnie.
second it.
I got one in.
All right.
Okay.
Gotta-
Attorney can-
I gotta earn my pay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Have an aye, any opposed? Item 15, consider possible action on two streetlights installation at intersections of County Trunk Z and Sampson Street and County Trunk Z at the entrance to Brookshire subdivision, Brookshire Court. I did have discussion pertaining to the one that's a shared location, unless you want a motion and a second first. We did have that, right?
No, we didn't.
We don't
No.
have a motion.
I'll make a motion to install the lights.
I'll second it for discussion purposes.
Thank you, Bill. All right, I did have discussion with Port Edwards pertaining to one that sits on a joint property line with us. They are in agreement to pay half the cost, or they believe that their commission is, or their village is in agreement. I'm not sure if they've officially taken action yet. But basically what would happen is that at the start of the year, we would bill them their fee. It's $10.50-some cents a month, I believe it is. Might be $10.60 or whatever the bill comes. We'd bill them for all the entire year, and then the next year we'd bill them again. So they are in agreement to share the cost on it. The second one that was brought to the county was brought actually by Safeway Bus. That's an entrance to a subdivision, which typically always have streetlights to start with. But for some reason, that subdivision did not get a street light in, but that's the information I can give you. County has agreed to install the lights, and basically the fee for the electricity would be transferred to the town. So that's-
Cost for the light is going to be paid for by the county as well then?
Yes, that is correct.
At both locations, paid by the county, the cost of the light?
The light and the pole, they would install it. And then the monthly fee charge at that point in time then gets billed for the electricity, and upkeep goes to the town.
I don't know if that's what you was asking.
Yeah, just
That's what
the
they're-
cost of the light itself will be paid
Exactly.
for by the county. So the only fees that we'll be splitting with Port Edwards in the one off
And one
Sampson
is the light cost,
is the light cost, which is how much per month we figure?
$10.50 a month roughly.
And then the one on Z in the subdivision
That
will
would
pay
be
the
ours.
full. Oh, okay.
So
Go ahead.
the total fee is about $20 or 21, so we would each pay 10 for that light, correct?
We'd have,
No, the town would pay the entire light fee on,
Right,
Sure.
we'd be looking at
And
about
we
we
50.
pay 6 months worth for the other one.
right.
Right.
And then, but the county is gonna pay to
Install
install
both
both
lights.
of them?
Both lights. That's their,
Okay.
We're looking at
That's our
about
motion.
$15 a month for us to operate these lights
Great.
from now until the end of existence.
So, when they choose the type of lighting, is it,
the energy company, which would be Alliant Energy on both of these, they would choose the light.
okay,
And I'm pretty certain they would be LED.
yeah, it's
I'm
not a
pretty certain.
halogen.
I'm sure it's not
I
halogen.
can't believe
Or
it.
high
No,
pressure.
I was just being funny.
Or high pressure sodium.
Yeah, I was just being silly.
I have a comment.
Yes, go ahead, Bill.
I will be voting for this, but I just want to say that the last time we had a lighting request, we had a vote of 3-2 not to put it in, and it was for an elderly resident or a handicapped resident. And this request, this is the first time the town has really seen this request for this. You know, but we stumbled in here to get people in here for this, and it was turned down because we would have people, one of the comments was we would have people lined up at the doors. And this one here went over so smoothly. I really don't know as if this really passed the county. It passed the committee on this for the highway department, but I would imagine that it did pass the county because I don't think anybody brought it up. But I just say the same things are in there for getting a street light for a resident in need. And it was rejected.
These two, if I would just make a comment on, these two are on major thoroughfares. They're not on a private road or a town road that's in an area that's in a subdivision area.
And that's what I
And
said when I started this conversation.
Right,
was
okay.
that.
Obviously, Bill, if the county doesn't put these lights up, we won't have any electricity bills. So, if they fail
So if they
to do
decide-
as they said they would, the lights just won't be up. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Have an aye, Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 16, consider possible action on resolution 2019-06, emergency powers, basically for the chairman. We thought we had this in place years ago, but we did meet talk about it, but we never acted upon it.
Right.
So
I'll make that
it's now
motion.
here because of
Second.
the issues we had with the last water issue. Motion by Patty, second by Andrew. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I have an aye. Any opposed? All right, where's my appointments? All right, item 16, these are the appointments by the chairman. These will take effect on May 1st when the board switches over, although I want to congratulate all the board members who ran again and became successful, and also thank those that took the time to run for it. So my appointments for the vice chair, Dan Paulson. Legislative will be the full board. The ambulance will be myself. The airport will be Nystrom as the chair, and then Paulson. The budget finance committee chairman, clerk, and treasurer. Economic development, Mr. Simon and Mr. Paulson have asked to take that. Personnel, I've asked Paulson and Simon. Public buildings, Paulson and Clendenning. Public works, Nystrom and Paulson. Public safety, Simon and Nystrom. And this one I made a change. I'm calling it recycling solid waste and water. Clendenning, Lumbee, Rayonaski as the public member. And the reason for that is I'm asking Bill to continue on to attend those water-based meetings so I'm assigning a 2-year committee. And we commissioners are Mr. Austin and Mr. Bill Meyer from the town employees. Other appointments to the Planning Commission, 3 years, Justin Connor will accept the chair, and Patty Lumbee are the 3-year term. Board of Review, the first alternate would be Tom Heiser, second, or a 1-year alternate, and a 1-year alternate for Gil Layton to the Board of Review. Board of Appeals, a 3-year Bill Clendenning, a 3-year for Mark Thompson. I don't have a third one at the alternate at this moment, but we'll work on that. And Police and Fire Commission, a 5-year for Todd Parmenter. Those are my appointments. I would hope that they would be approved.
I'll make a motion that we approve the change, committee appointments.
I'll
Motion by
second.
Dan, second by Andrew.
Can I
Any
comment?
discussion?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, and I did call you on this. I find this, I'm voting for it, for your appointments. I think they're good. But I just think they're premature because for the length of time I've been on town boards, this is usually held after the annual meeting because that's the annual meeting that allows people to come in here and make suggestions to the town about what committees they would like to see the town have or what they would like to do. And then our May meeting is when the appointments would be made to that. So I'm asking, if something comes up at the annual meeting, will you still be in favor of?
Well, anything that comes up at the planning commission, at the annual meeting is certainly subject to discussion at the town board. So why would I say I would not support anything? So,
Okay, that's all I ask. Thank you.
and go ahead, Patty, you're,
Oh, I just had one question. A while back, I thought there was discussion about with a town board, there isn't truly a vice chair, because if you weren't able to attend, then it would be the quorum that would be available to appoint the vice chair. I mean, I don't have a problem with this, but I just thought that's,
that discussion was heard.
okay.
I looked through all our records, and the records have gone from way back when. This is the way the town did business. Now, if the town did business wrong for the last 40 years,
Okay.
then it is. I don't know if it hurts. We can have as many committees as we want or appointments.
Okay.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that we're right or we're wrong.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, I'm going to be voting in favor. I was just curious about where that conversation went to.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and aye, any opposed? 18, consider possible action of bidding out purchase of gravel for road projects and stockpile. We actually always talk to the board at this meeting, and then we actually draft the number of tons to be released for a bidding process in the May meeting. But I would assume that everybody is correct, that we want to go out for a bid for gravel, correct?
Yes.
I'll
Go
make
ahead.
a motion to approve that.
I will second.
Okay,
And then how did we end up with the amount of gravel left over?
actually, we have less left over this year than other years. Our stockpile is diminished to about 50% of what we normally keep for a stockpile.
Okay. Is there any foresight as far as being able to address the shoulders that, I know we haven't done
Yeah.
our road right
We
yet.
haven't
but-
been on there yet. But how we'll decide how much gravel we think we need is once we take a look at what roads we're gonna do, hopefully soon.
Okay.
And then we'll get an idea, are we just putting an overlay on them, which doesn't require much gravel? Or are we gonna rebuild some roads, which takes more gravel? And that will kind of give us a feel for by the May meeting, how many tons we need to get.
Okay, thank you.
Plus with all the flooding and the shoulder work.
Yeah.
Right.
That may have a
Big
impact
bang.
on that too.
Yeah.
There's a motion and second, no vote, right? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I have an aye, any opposed. Moving to the second page, as Paul Harvey says. Consider possible action on board members attending WTA Capital Days in Madison, April 23rd. Anybody going
Yes.
or wanting to go? Bill?
Yes, I would, but I would like to say something about it.
Go ahead.
And I handed some stuff to our fire chief. There's much discussion going around at the county level and at the different highway meetings that we have. And that's mostly about EMS and fire and safety. And in 2017, there was a whole list of new rules and regulations coming out. I would hope that on this day, somebody from the fire department or somebody from this county, which does not usually attend those things, that they would go to that, because you'll be speaking to your legislators about fire and safety. And I'm on a county committee in which we had a meeting in Portage, and it was all about, and put this as gentle as, it was all about towns kind of losing their fire departments, you know, because other people would like to take this over, so. And I would suggest that somebody from the fire department go to this meeting.
Okay.
That's when you can get your legislators and talk about it.
Okay, if anybody else wishes to go, I'll let Lisa know.
Thank you.
And we should make that a motion that we.
I'll make a
send.
motion.
Or did we already?
No, you didn't.
Okay,
Second.
motion by Dan, second by Andrew. Anybody wishing to go to the Capital Days, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed?
When does that due then? Sam?
Register by April 5th,
No.
so last week, I guess.
I'll just follow up. No, I'll follow up.
I just got it when I got it.
It's a good program to go
Never
to.
mind.
Yeah, it really is.
I really like it.
We're always late though, we're always late.
Yeah.
Item 20, consider approval of appointment of an agent change for the store, 4010 8th Street South to Sarah Cherney.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. Mel, did this go through your review? Okay, everything's good? Any other questions, Bill?
This is the first time, did we always do this with a driver's license on the back?
The
An ID?
girls, yeah, the girls normally photocopy some type of ID. I don't know if they've always provided it.
It shouldn't have been on our copy, Bill.
We probably should,
Yeah.
we should probably turn these back
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, we don't normally get that information.
Me and my big mouth.
All right. Do we vote?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? No opposed? I'll find out later. March disbursements, anybody, got any questions on them?
I had a couple. Okay, so on page 7, with the municipal court expenses, what we had budgeted for the fiscal year and what it is actual now, we're already at 49%.
Oh, I'm looking at
Oh.
That's what I was
at the
looking at.
vouchers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is vouchers we were looking at.
Oh, so,
You can ask the question.
okay, all right. So I was just curious about, usually by this time of the month, we should be at least 25% or less. And I just was surprised that it was at 49%.
I don't know if I can answer it either, maybe
No, I-
Lisa can check, but I'm gonna guess
Right.
we may make some payments that are
Well, I know we did the
one-time
software.
Like a
software
one-time-
payments,
okay.
We
software
paid
payments that we
software
pay.
in full, so.
Okay,
Was that that
was
software that
one.
we purchased that was
Yes.
supposed
Yeah.
to go out and look up the,
Mhm. And that was over
The
2,000.
tax intercept?
Oh, that
Yep.
probably, yep,
bet you that's what
I can
that
double
was.
check for you, but that was a huge part of
Yep.
it, so.
okay. And then I just was gonna comment on, we're at 65% of our snow and ice expense because of our
Surprise.
tremendous amount of snowfall. No, I'm not surprised at all.
Okay.
And then we haven't, when do we actually pay public access? Because I see that we haven't.
We pay them once a year, and we
Once a
usually,
year.
and we usually do it and then right at the start of the year.
Oh,
I don't think we've gotten an invoice yet, so I don't know if we have paid them yet. I'll have to
Okay.
look. I'll double check.
yeah.
See if you're gonna
Art
pay.
can check, because
Art.
Tom
Did you
had,
notice-
before he left, told me he was gonna
Did
bill
you
it.
know how he
Yeah, I don't think
zoomed
we've
in
gotten
on
any.
that?
I'll check.
Just trying to help you out, Art.
Another vote.
Like, wake you up once in a
Thank you.
while.
Much appreciated.
All right,
Sure.
going
That's
back to
it.
the vouchers, any
Yeah,
questions?
okay.
All right, they stand approved.
Yep.
So. Now you got me all confused with all my papers.
That's all right.
There we go. All right, operator licenses, we have one or two, do we? Two. We have a 1 year for Alex Paulson for the Ridges, and a Vanessa Walensky for the store.
I'll make the motion to approve the two 1 year permits.
I'll second.
Motion made, seconded, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed. All right, moving to monthly reports from committees. Rick was off on Friday, so he did put a quick report together. Patching has been ongoing. 7 tons of coal patch have been used so far. Just received another 7 tons, and it's in stockpile right now. We had trouble with the Washington Street ditches this year. They actually froze to the bottom, which is pretty unusual for them. They were plugged with ice. We had to get Wood County Highway to assist with their rubber tire tractor. I think they worked there 2 different times to get it finally running. Storm cleanup along the ditches has been ongoing with the chipper truck. The number 3 Sterling dump truck has been sent up to V&H. It's got electrical problems that they are unable to find. Rick says he met with crack fill services to review this year's road work for crack filling. Numerous signs have been repaired from the winter abuse, and assisted with election and fire department house burn and fire calls.
I got just.
Go ahead.
On that Washington Street culvert, I was told by the crew that they got somebody from Marshfield.
No, it was
Okay.
highway shop.
Okay, and then they didn't only use it there, they used it all up and down 48th Street too.
Okay, I didn't know
That's
that.
all I'm digging.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions that I can or cannot answer, but I'll try.
Yeah, if they, if residents have down trees like in the ditches that's stopping the flow of the water in the ditches, should they just contact the,
Just give us a call at the town.
okay,
Because anything that's in the ditch, that first 12 foot, that would be ours to get. I know they about out every day trying to
okay,
get them out. Some of them were buried in snow that they had to wait for the snow to
all right.
go away, which went away, but I'm not sure if it's staying away. Any other questions? Move on to Airport Commission. Not much happening right now, except on April 18th, we have 2 construction meetings. The first one is going to be with the crew that worked on last year's project that they were unable to finish due to the cold and rainy weather. They have 9 days left of their working contract, and that was primarily a safety and a ramp parking update. Second project will kick off at the same time. That's a parallel taxiway for the main runway. That's to improve safety. That's a federally funded at 90% project, 5% state and 5% municipalities. Other than that, we've are getting ready. We're hearing that the golf course down south is going to open up in about 14 days, so stand by. Questions? Bill?
So what about the annexation at the airport? Has that meeting been scheduled?
There is a meeting scheduled to reschedule a vote, yes. And it's going to take place on Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Meeting hasn't been publicly announced yet, but that's what I was told this afternoon. Any other questions? Move on to solid waste and recycling. Bill, update on anything?
Yes, we have prepared our annual report, and we're looking for another meeting, but we can't really schedule one yet. But otherwise, it's going good. Got a lot of calls about the Choose to Reuse program and what they can bring and what they can't bring. So I think we're in pretty good shape. And if anybody would like to donate, you can donate to the Choose to Reuse program for the town of Grand Rapids through the Clean Green Action Committee, which is a 501c3.
Any questions?
I have a comment just in regards to the brush that's in the at the town garage?
Yeah,
Because
I can tell you how big it is.
yeah, it's quite large, and so I was just wondering if we're gonna be getting together and discussing that, because I'm seeing that brush pile moved farther out, so I'm just concerned about the choose to reuse in May and the brush pile, so.
Yeah, right now it's growing. It is 54 foot wide and 72 feet long and approximately 15 feet high, which is roughly 60,000 cubic feet of square feet of brush. So obviously Rick is working with two contractors trying to get looks at it and when to see if what their availability is. So
thank you.
we'll move on to Plan Commission. And Patty, what have you got?
Yeah, we met last night and we had 2 dog exemption permits. We had 1 land use permit. Good news is that Wood County Parks and Forestry brought to our commission improvements for the White Sands Beach Shelter. They're going to be adding a kitchen and restrooms. And so they're hoping that will be completed by Memorial Day weekend. We also had a business that is going to be doing resurfacing of a blacktop parking lot, and that's over on the Highway 54 corridor, overlay zoning district. And then we are actively working on our comprehensive plan, and right now we we'll probably have on our next agenda for next month, we'll forward that to you, but it's the public plan purpose for the, it'll outlay or outline our steps that we will take for the comprehensive plan to be approved through
Updated.
public and updated, yep. So that's about it.
Questions? Public buildings? Jan?
We haven't met, but we got a couple of the portable furnace air conditioning units. They're working on them today, installing them and that. And we're going to be starting to work on some of the budgetary items here real shortly.
Okay. Question for you, have you heard anything from that playground committee or whoever they was? Are they active or inactive?
No, they're active, but I'm going to be reaching out to them shortly.
Okay. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I haven't heard nothing from them, but we'll give them a holler.
Legislative committee did meet, and the results of that meeting were what you saw tonight. Public safety, Andrew?
We have not met.
Okay. Economic development has not.
Correct.
And personnel committee
Has not met.
has not met. WTA bill, what did they have last time? Or Dan, were you there?
Ken was there.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, tell him what you heard, and then I'll correct you.
All right. The election's over, so that's okay now. So the part that I thought very interesting was the solar, I don't know.
So smart.
Soul Smart.
Mhm.
And she did a presentation on what their program is about and how to participate in it and what they will look at as far as areas and areas they consider optimal for setting this up. And that is something that I think as public buildings and that we're going to pursue as far as getting more information and getting seeing if we have some areas where we could take advantage of that. It was very informative. That's pretty broad.
Now I'll tell you what really happened. Scott's Construction was there, and talked how good we were doing in the town of Grand Rapids with our roads. And one of the things that was brought up, of course, was Soul Smart, and also there was some things there that were shocking to me, and I, as a county board supervisor, will watch it. There was a presentation on countywide zoning, and you know, I don't know if this town would appreciate countywide zoning.
No.
We have our own zoning.
No.
And I know that, and just remember, we're just like the city of Milwaukee and Wood County. We have 7 legislators here, in this county, so we should be. And we also have 7 county board supervisors that represent a portion of the town of Grand Rapids. So please get to them if something.
there was 5.
Five.
Okay.
Fine, and please get to them, but I think that's very important as to why they want countywide zoning in this town. In 1943, they did have countywide zoning, and according to a court case that we had in the town of Saratoga, we still have countywide zoning, it's just not active, so. And that was part of the presentation, so. And the next meeting is the 15th, 19th at
Vesper.
Outdoor.
Aldor.
Card just came today.
Yes, this is the town of Cameron, who only has 2 town board meetings a year. They have an annual meeting and a budget meeting. They don't have a town hall.
Boy, that chairman's got it off easy, don't he?
He raises cranberries. That's it for that.
All right, just a comment, no, I'll do that in my public comments. Report for individual board members. I'm gonna try to remember every this time. Andrew.
I'm good, no, thanks.
Patty.
Yes, I'd like to thank the voters for participating in the spring election. I really appreciate all of your support, and special thanks to my husband, my mother, and friends for their assistance. And I'm truly honored that you've placed your confidence and support in me again for another term. And thank you for the election workers. Oh my gosh, they do a wonderful job. And I am extremely impressed and proud of the town of Grand Rapids. We had a 43% turnout of voters, and that's wonderful, so thank you.
Well, okay. Dan?
Hey, can I read that?
Yes.
No, I'd like to thank.
Say ditto, just say
Yeah,
ditto.
just say ditto, there you go. I'd like to thank the voters too for their support and the whole community for coming out and vote. Grand Rapids again proved that the percentage-wise, people were talking maybe 20%, whatever, and Grand Rapids definitely takes their voting privilege seriously, and it's good to see. I'd like to congratulate our chairman for another 2 years and appreciate his leadership that he provides for the board. And again, same with those election workers. Man, if you're here and you're looking behind the scenes, they're working, they're going. There is not a lot of downtime, and people, it's smooth when everybody says, well, this is nothing. Yeah, it is because of what happened behind the scenes, so thanks to everybody.
Good job, Lisa. Thank you.
William?
I'm just going to kind of give a county report, and it was mentioned in public comment here. And the fact is that I and another county board supervisor, Ken Curry, who represents a part of the town of Grand Rapids, we're trying to hold a meeting, possibly at the village of Barron Hall, and we're inviting the town board, Wood County Highway Department. We want to talk about the increased traffic on 48th Street, and also it'll go up past, and we're also getting Mariani in here, and the people that are putting it in this new plant next to the people here that's Metallico, and trying to get some answers on the increase of 100 trucks per day and on our 48th Street and also on Washington Avenue. So stay tuned, we're putting this together. We hope to have it within the next 2 weeks.
Can you send that out to us and let us know when that meeting is?
Yes, I'm going to be like campaigning. I'm going out and having people in Ward 10 here and also Ward 11 in the town of Grand Rapids. That's what we're going to have to do.
Okay.
Amy, got anything else? Lisa?
I have one for once, yes.
Yes, you do. You have your election report.
Yes, the election report for 4/2. In the 20 days prior to the election, we had 4,997 registered voters here. We had 2 in the 2 weeks before, 57 on election day, so we have a total of 5,056 now. Total number of voters was 2,191, which was 43% turnout, which was amazing. Absentee electors, we had a total of 284 requests. 70 were issued by mail, 198 was in-person voting the 2 weeks before the election. We had a total of 268 that were counted, so there was like 14, I think, that weren't received back. Total number of workers that day was 25, and the poll workers' wages cost was $1,960, meals 120 for a total of $2,080. And obviously our re-elected Chairman Arnie and Supervisors Patty and Dan, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
That's it?
And it was a fantastic, wonderful, yes, the workers did amazing. It was a very smooth election. And it was busy, way busier than anybody expected, so it went really well.
Short of ballots.
Yes, we ran out of ballots, yeah. And we ordered 500 more than what was normally would have been ordered for this one. I bumped it up 500 and we still ran out at 7:30, so. So we had some hand counting that night.
Yeah.
Not much.
Not as bad as,
No, not as bad as others.
Town of Saratoga, 240 they
Yeah.
counted.
There were 7 municipalities that ran out of ballots that night.
Wow. And 48% of the county voters voted.
48%?
48%.
Wow, wow.
All right, then I also want to thank the residents of town for giving me your support. It's quite humbling to be able to say that I now will be starting my 26th year of on this board in one shape, manner, or form. How long I can go, Lord only knows. I may live to be 100. But again, I just want to comment on the SolSmart. I have had some conversations, and because it was a topic that was coming up that I felt that needed to get some one-on-one, so I did invite Nick, our attorney Nick, to go meet with this Nancy to get a little bit of understanding. If we were even to propose getting into this, what would be involved? What I indicated to Nick is I think it's at a point now is if the committee wants to take the lead, I would like to see a joint committee meeting between the Plan Commission and the town board with Nancy and possibly any other people that she can get and lay out everything a little more to everybody and then determine if it's something that the board wants to pursue to be. The SolSmart is there's several classes of certification that you can get up to, and if you're at a gold level class, then there's benefits for the town where you may be able to get some site evaluations at no cost by a grant that they can do. They can do a certain number of sites, and I believe it is 5, determine if there's any sites in the town that would be suitable for a larger standalone station where you would then sell the power back to the local municipality. So it looks to be that there's potential to be some revenue gains, and that's kind of what was driving me to look into this at first. And we'll get the public buildings, if that's you want to take the lead on it. We can turn it over to you, or I can continue on and do it as a joint meeting. It's up to.
Did you want to do the Plan Commission, or did you want?
I wanted to get both Plan Commission and the board.
And the full
Oh,
board.
and full board, yes,
I mean,
oh,
we
definitely.
can just call that a meeting, and then from then on, if you guys want to run with it, we'll go with that. So, and then we'll go back to the second part of the public comment. Anybody wishing to speak again to the board, limited to 2 minutes each. Public comment period is limited to 16 minutes. Why that is, I don't remember. Chief.
Yeah, I forgot to mention in my report, a big thanks to the town crew with that burn house we had this winter. I had to lean on them several times to plow and sand and make the seating safe out there. They assisted me over the winter. They saved pallets for us to burn that we needed. Anyways, Rick and the crew were great. They just wanted to give them a shout out that they were extremely helpful to the fire department all winter long with that house. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else wish to speak? All's good?
Thank you for taking up the voting ordinance and moving that forward.
You bet. We're proud to do it. Establish next agenda. Anybody have anything? If not, bring it forward later. Item 27, adjourn. Who's in favor?
I'll make the
Motion Dan, second Andrew. All in favor say aye. Thank you very much.